Welcome everyone to our very first webinar of 2025. My name is Rashida Phillips, and I serve as the Director of Partnerships here at the Art Bridges Foundation. It is so wonderful to have all of you join us today to explore more of our newest initiatives to expand access to American art across the country. We have a fantastic lineup of presenters to guide us through these updates and share their experiences. We'll also begin a brief overview of Art Bridges, then preview new artworks from our collection that are available to borrow, and also Ulrich's Museum of Art will share some of the recent acquisitions that they're also able to share with the network. We're so excited for you to hear more. We'll also have a short Q&A after each of the segments of the presentation, so please feel free to submit your questions in the Zoom Q&A, and we'll follow up with you either live or afterwards if we don't reach all of you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll hand it over to Anne Craybill, our CEO, to share more about Art Bridges.
Hi, welcome everybody. We are thrilled. This is our very first webinar, and the whole purpose of this is for us to do a better job communicating with you all of the opportunities we have. So I know some of you are probably really familiar with Art Bridges, perhaps some less so. So bear with me. I'm going to share my screen and do a little PowerPoint. And 1 second. You just get it into the full. All right, give me a thumbs up if we are able to see that. Great. So I think a lot of you may know about Art Bridges, but some of you maybe are less clear about the origin story, how this came to be. It was founded by Alice Walton, who really has a North Star of access. She just believes that everybody deserves access to art, that it is hope, it is opportunity, it is education, it is all of the things that we want. So she conceived of Art Bridges shortly after she built Crystal Bridges. And if you've ever been to Crystal Bridges, an amazing institution nestled in the heartland, Bentonville, Arkansas, which is her hometown. And this was definitely much to the skepticism of other institutions in major metro areas. I won't name names. But I think we've all come to realize that it has been such an incredible boon to this community. It has welcomed millions and millions of guests, and it's beloved both by its residents and visitors alike. And I think it signaled that every community deserves access to art. But one of the things that she did was strategically create a very small amount of storage space, because she doesn't really believe that art can exist without a viewer, without the visitor. And so this idea kind of planted the seed for, there's lots of institutions across the country that have very deep holdings of art. Could we not give them some resources to get their artwork out of storage and redistribute those collections with institutions across the country? So Art Bridges' mission: we deliver access to meaningful experiences with art for personal and community well-being. And what we do, we partner with museums of all sizes to provide strategic and financial support to get American art out of storage and into communities nationwide through our innovative and collaborative programs. What we hope we will accomplish with this, our vision, is that we will empower art museums to collaborate more effectively, dismantle silos, and develop flexible solutions to overcome barriers of access, ensuring that museums are inclusive for everyone. So we want to see museums operate differently. We want to see large institutions collaborating with small institutions. We want to be able to see museums in partnership with their community and developing programs with their community. We want to see all of those institutional silos that we're so used to, both internally and externally, get broken down. To date, we're a pretty young foundation, founded in 2017, but we have some pretty big impact. We have over 260 museums in our partner network, and these are museums of all sizes and locations, so across the country. We've helped support 900 projects, and those projects have impacted 5.3 million people. So really, really proud of that effort, but we also realize there's a long road to go, which is part of why we're having this webinar today, to share all of the opportunities with you. You can see the distribution of the museums that we currently work with. We are obviously trying to get some greater density in the middle of America and on the West Coast. So hope that we have some of you from those regions joining us today. And we have two program pillars to accomplish our mission and our vision. One is art sharing and the other is community engagement. And we believe that when we support those two pillars, that we're really able to increase access. So today we are going to focus on art sharing. We have a lot of different programs, but we're specifically going to focus on the Partner Loan Network, our own collection, and some temporary exhibitions that are also available to you. So we are thrilled to be partnering with the Ulrich Museum of Art and getting some of their art out of storage. I had the pleasure of working with Vivian when I lived in Wichita at the Wichita Art Museum. She was just across town at the Ulrich Museum. They have an incredible collection and a problem of not enough gallery space. So rather than not, having this available to the public, might they get some of those works out and share them with all of you? So I'm going to introduce Vivian. I'm going to read so I don't miss any of the important bios while Vivian gets up her presentation. She is the Executive and Creative Director of the Ulrich Museum of Art. She is a museologist who specializes in contemporary art, community engagement, and audience-centric curatorial practices. Prior to her leadership roles, Zavataro, or Vivian, worked at renowned art organizations such as Documenta in Kassel, Germany, the Nevada Museum of Art, SF MoMA, the J. Paul Getty Foundation, and she holds a master's in Heritage and Museum Studies from the University of Amsterdam, a master's in Advanced Studies in Curating from the Zurich University of Arts, and is currently pursuing her PhD in Practice and Curating at the University of Reading. So I'm so pleased to welcome Vivian to share all of the wonderful work that the Ulrich is doing and the wonderful art that is available to you. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you for this wonderful introduction. It's so nice to be in the same quote unquote room as you again. So today I will briefly introduce you to our collection, highlight some of our pieces, but the main focus will be on the available groupings in the Partner Loan Network program from Art Bridges. I will share some installation shots and insights into how the public has engaged with these pieces at the Ulrich, and I'll also discuss how Art Bridges supports these loans for hosting institutions, providing the program link on the slideshow and also on the chat, and after that we'll have a little bit of time for some questions. So the Ulrich has been a cornerstone of Wichita arts community since 1974. Celebrating our 50th anniversary last year, we have been dedicating to collecting the art of our times from our inception. As one of only 2 Wichita art museums, we focus on national and international modern and contemporary art. Our permanent collection consists of over 7,000 works, including 88 sculptures in the renowned Martin H. Bush Outdoor Sculpture Collection, which features this striking mural by Juan Miró that you can see here, titled Personnage Oiseau. Our entire collection is accessible online through our collection portal, and visitors and scholars can request to view stored works in our collection at our Collection Study Center. And that's important because I'll mention that later in the presentation. To exemplify the breadth of our holdings, I wanted to highlight a few key pieces. This touching etching by Katja Kolowitz, Zertreten, which means crush or ruin, and you can really feel that when you look at the piece. And it was made in 1900. And we have an impressive collection of Gordon Parks photographs, including American Gothic that you can see here from 1942. One of Joan Mitchell's masterpieces, entitled from 1956, which is part of the Partner Loan Network program. There's Elaine de Kooning, titled Taurus 2 from 1973. And our most recent acquisition, Devin Shimoyama Togetherness Eclipse from 2019, which is currently on view here at the Ulrich in his solo show, Rituals. So for the Art Bridges Partner Loan Network program, the Ulrich has 8 available groupings, 6 of which remain open for reservation right now. So I'll focus on the available ones today. So the first one, Portraiture Today 2, features 3 works spanning 74 years. We have Fletcher Martin, Glory from 1948. We have this incredible Makita Ahuja, Boogie Woogie from 2006, and Dinora Justice, Portrait 57, after Matisse's Odalisque with a Turkish chair, 1978, that she did in 2022. Here are two installation views, both exhibitions here at Ulrich. On the left, we have Ahuja's piece in the exhibition With the People from 2018. And Justice, as you can see on the very right side there, in Repose, which was on view last fall. Justice work, it was acquired last year into our collection, has been highly popular with faculty and students, and people been requesting to see it in our collection study center. Ahuja's piece actually is one of our most requested works for in-person viewing. It's just incredible when you see its presence in person. So a lot of faculty and professors used this piece in their classes. So they bring their classroom to our collection study center for the students to see it in person. Our second grouping is landscape and abstraction, and this group includes one of the outliers in our collection that was made before the 1900s, this beautiful Thomas Cole landscape, finished in 1847. The largest piece in our collection, this Robert Motherwell Le Cave numéro 2. And this elegant Armand from 1960 that you can see here. Here on the left, you can see the Motherwell Le Cave currently on view at the Wichita Museum of Art, and saw the piece in my office, I think, a couple years ago, and she's like, we need to borrow it. I was like, please do, because I'm the only one looking at it. I want more people to see it. Visitors are really captivated by the striking black and orange of the composition. You kind of like sucked into the piece. It measures 12 by 6 feet, so it's pretty big. The other large one will be our Benny Andrews that I'll show you in a second. Our Thomas Cole, you can see here on the right, was part of the Thomas Cole Studio exhibition at the Thomas Cole National Historical Site in 2022 in New York. Our third grouping, Abstraction Then and Now, features 4 works, including the detail of the Calder mobile from 1930, our Brown that you can see behind me too, Still Life from 1938, and our Mark Bradford Come On Shorty from 2002. And the fourth one is not featured here, is George Lovett Kingsland Morris from 1947. But you can see on the Art Bridges website through the link that we'll share on the chat. Here are 2 installation shots showcasing the Brown and Bradford's work in deep dive selections from the permanent collection that was on view here at Ulrich in 2022. Our fourth grouping is pop-up art, tongue twister. This group includes Edna Andrade, Yellow Turn from 1968, Andy Warhol's Chicken and Dumplings from 1969, and Audrey Fleck, Covergirl. I just realized that she passed away last year. So here are the Andrade's piece in our 2023 exhibition titled Chroma. Visitors really enjoyed this piece. They would come and look at it and kind of stare at it for a while, and they often would comment on the optical illusion effect that it has. And then on the right top, you can see Fleck's Covergirl, which was included in Deep Dive as well. Our fifth grouping is 20th century portraiture, and this is the largest grouping available in this program, which features 5 works from our collection. And I'm going to show you 3 of them. Here we have Thomas Hart Benton's Study for Susanna from 1937, one of my favorites in the collection, George Grove's Self-Portrait with Pipe from 1937, and Harold Weston Self-Portrait from 1922. Benton's work was on view last fall in the exhibition Repose. It's just really striking in person. Our last grouping is Benny Andrews, which features 3 of his works. The Ulrich was really lucky that we acquired 4 of his pieces in the early 1970s. And for our bridges, for this program, we selected 3 pieces, which includes Symbols, which is gigantic, War Study number 7, and Mourners. Here you can see on the right side, it was an exhibition titled We the People from 2018, and we created this alcove to display this 37 feet long piece, allowing visitors to be fully immersed in Andrew's narrative. And here on the left side, you can see Mourners in our deep dive show. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how Art Bridges supports borrowing institutions for the Partner Loan Network program. I really, really love this initiative. As museums professionals know and mentioned in her brief presentation, only about 2% of museums' permanent collections are on view at a time. So this program brings these stored artworks into new museums nationwide, expanding accessibility to diverse audiences. And beyond facilitating loans, Art Bridges assists hosting institutions with interpretation, coordinating loan agreements, and cover insurance, condition reporting, creating, packing, and shipping costs, making these loans completely free for borrowing institutions, which is incredible. Additionally, participating institutions can apply for the Art Bridges Learning and Engagement funding to support programming and community engagement. Ulrich has been the recipient of this fund twice now, and we're so grateful for their team's assistance and support. They're really easy to work with. So here is the link to our grouping, and you'll be able to find it in the chat as well. And now we can jump into questions from the audience.
Thank you, Vivian, so much for sharing that incredible collection of groupings. We're really lucky to be able to offer that out in the network and support you all. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them into the Q&A section of Zoom.
While we wait for some questions to come in, maybe I can ask a few.
Sure, absolutely.
Vivian, so has the Ulrich always wanted to be able to share? What has been your limitation in the past?
So we do get a lot of loan requests, and for institutions that have free admission, we offer those loans for free. But it's always, for a lot of institutions, a lot of the country, the cost for, building the crate and shipping can be very prohibitive. But for example, Mark Bradford piece that is now part of this program is one of the most loaned pieces in our collection. But I think the cost of shipping is what makes it difficult to expand our loan possibilities here at the Ulrich.
Great. We do have a question that's come up in the Q&A. It says, hello and thank you. What are the facility requirements for borrowing institutions in the program?
So Art Bridges facilitates that, and I don't know if any of you would like to tap in to talk about that, but we require your facility report, measurements of your gallery, those being humidity and temperature, security, etc., etc. I don't know if any of the Art Bridges folks would like to add anything.
Yeah, I can chime in. We typically get what the requirements are from our lenders, and then our registration team will kind of pre-vet your facility reports that you send to us and your temperature and humidity readings. That way we can kind of make sure you're, kind of pre-qualified that you are meeting what those requirements are. Um, we are emphasizing to our partners of late that we're really trying to um, be more flexible with facility standards. Sustainability is really big for art bridges, and with climate change, it has really impacted museums. So the more rigorous facility requirements that have kind of been the standard long ago have become harder and harder to obtain. And so we try to work really closely with our lenders and with our partners to figure out what accommodations that can be made. To meet, to meet those requirements. So if there is something that might be light sensitive and we do have an extended loan period for that, we'll work with the lender and the partner to come to an agreeable point where maybe we are having dark gallery hours when the gallery isn't open to the public, or, there's no one in that space to reduce the light exposure. Or, if it is something that's going into the program that doesn't have, UV glazing, it just has general glass on it, we'll work to make sure that that is updated before it goes out onto loan to protect it better. But we do, we are very, very encouraging for our lenders to work with our partners in coming up with a solution to say yes to lending as much as we possibly can.
Great. We have an additional question here. How long does it take for the checklist or catalog of original works to be accepted?
I do not know that answer.
I'm thinking that question is, I'm wondering, and perhaps Laura, you could expand upon that, if it's how long it takes if you have a particular grouping that you would like to borrow to get Art Bridges to lend it, or are you talking about if you have a checklist that you wanted to create to be a lender? Or maybe Andy, you could just answer both.
Sure. So to start off, if you're interested in being a lender to the Partnered Loan and Network Program, the time range kind of varies. It can go very quickly or it could go very slowly. We are always able to work with what your timeline is and what your internal staff capacity is on these projects. We typically started off with a conversation with an interested lender. It'll be members from my team and also from the curatorial team. Our curatorial team plays a very important role in this. They should be used as a resource while you're building the checklist. Ashley and her team have a lot of insight knowledge onto what our partners should be looking for. In their loans, or when our lenders are lending things, because they know what those requests have been in the past. So they can really, offer great advice when building that checklist out with our lenders, or if there's, great pieces in the lender's collection that the lender might be a little bit apprehensive about offering up because it might be a more complex installation. Please put those up there as well, and our team will kind of talk you through that process. Once we do get a finalized checklist decided upon, we'll get an application going with you, and that's when, once that gets fully fleshed out, we put it in front of our board chair for approval. Kind of in tandem with that, we will be talking with you, working with our partnerships team, and thinking about who potential borrowers for these works might be. We love if lenders come to us with some interested parties already. So if they've been having conversations with a potential borrower who wants to borrow, 3 or so works from their collection, but they just haven't been able to kind of sync up, or the money has been a hurdle, bring us that information. We love to, rather than play kind of the middle person, if you can already come to us with an interested party who's wants to borrow from your collection and has a set grouping of works that they're interested in, please bring that to us. And then, maybe there's some other works that we can borrow from your collection in addition that other partners would be interested in.
Great. Thank you so much, Andy, for answering those questions. And thank you again to Vivian for really talking us through your beautiful collection of groupings that are in the PLN network. If others of you have questions, there will be contact information at the end of the presentation today, and please feel free to reach out to us for much more. Let's switch gears a bit and we'll get over to Ashley Howland, our curator and director of curatorial initiatives here at Art Bridges. We have some wonderful new acquisitions that Ashley will tell us about.
Hey, everybody. As you know, at Art Bridges, we are always working with partners to identify works in their collections to share across the nation. But we also recognize that not every museum can collect every work that they want to. And so that is why Art Bridges does continue to acquire works for our own collection, which are then made available to partners to borrow free of cost for up to a year, and they can be used in a multitude of ways. You can put it into a temporary exhibition, into your permanent gallery space, mini interventions within galleries. It's really about what is going to have the largest impact for you and bring in new audiences. So without further ado, we have some new acquisitions. Some have gone live on the website and some are so new that they aren't even up there yet. But these are all looking for first placements, second placements. Please reach out if you're interested in them. We would love to talk about availability and taking them to your institution. Okay, there we go. So our first one is an incredible work by artist Bernice Bing. Bernice Bing was an abstract expressionist that lived in the Bay Area. She is really affectionately known as Bingo, and while had a great sort of presence on the West Coast, was largely overlooked by the American art field. And in some ways, this is a rediscovery of this artist. Bernie Falls is a beautiful work by her, large scale, expressive. It is thinking and recreating an area in California, Bernie Falls, but doing it in a way that is really not just talking about the landscape itself, but also looking into who Bernice Bing was as a woman, as a Chinese immigrant that was orphaned and in the foster care system throughout her early childhood, and a queer artist that really was thinking about what it meant to have space within this larger world that was very much dominated by males. Another great acquisition is our Mel Chin. Now, this may not look like a Mel Chin that people are used to. He oftentimes creates very immersive installation works. They are large scale. They are conceptual. We at Art Bridges sometimes will collect works that are maybe not the thing that you automatically think of for the artist, because we want to ensure accessibility for all institutions. So this is an oil on canvas that was recently created by Mel as he was revisiting painting as a medium. It is thinking about various moments in his career. It's thinking about his own identity, his history of growing up in Texas, as well as ecological destruction that happened in a place that was very dear to him as a young boy that suffered from an oil spill in the 90s. And you have these moments of water molecules, embedded media. It's just such a wonderful piece. And if you're worried it seems a little big, it breaks down into 4 pieces and will easily fit into any door in any museum. An exciting emerging artist, Jordan Ann Krug. She's Northern Cheyenne. This is, I believe, the largest work that she has ever made from her Sharp Tongue series, where she is really looking at Plains cultural memory, cultural production, and visual language, and putting it into an acrylic on canvas form that brings you into the contemporary moment, but it is informed by this long history of production and community engagement. Another one that breaks down into panels, so very easily shippable and placed into a gallery space. this acquisition is something that is really, really incredible for Art Bridges. We were able to acquire the final edition by Lorraine O'Grady of the Miscegenated Family Album, or MFA is how everybody refers to it. It is a total of 16 triptychs that pair personal images from O'Grady's family with images that she took while on a vacation in Cairo, Egypt, and really thinking about the recent loss of her sister during that time and seeing herself in the bust of Nefertiti and thinking about the relationship of Nefertiti and her sister and bringing it back to Lorraine O'Grady. What is lovely about this is that we will be able to tour the entire suite of works together, and that is something that I think is not often able to happen. The 3 other complete portfolios of this work are in museum collections, but oftentimes are shown, as individual pieces. And so this is really an opportunity to create a mini exhibition or to embed it within larger installations, whether it be a show about photography or Egyptian culture. There are so many avenues that you could really embrace with this collection. Now, we don't only collect modern and contemporary work, so we also have Edward Hicks in recognition of the upcoming 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States. This is a really appropriate time for a work like this to come into the collection. Edward Hicks is really well known for his Peaceable Kingdom series, but this is also a series that he gave a lot of time and energy to based off of Thomas Sully's The Passage of the Delaware, a beautiful sort of Hicks turn on it. And I will say this is a work that you have to see up close and in person. There are just so many beautiful moments in it. Great way to lead up into 2026 if you want to start familiarizing your audience with the idea of a celebration of the United States or an interrogation of the founding of America. This is a great piece to be able to do that with. Another really exciting addition, Titus Kafar's Ascension 6. This is building off of his Ascension series, where you have an overlaying of a photograph of Michael Jordan doing his slam dunk, but underneath that is a 15th century recreation of a Christ ascension or descent from the cross. And so it is this marrying of who do we worship? How do we create visual memory about these things? And then it is layered with these brass nails that really create a moment of marriage between those, but also dimensionality and just a stunning piece to see in person. Shelley Nero, this is a personal favorite of mine of this new acquisition. Shelley Nero is a Mohawk artist. She was born in Niagara Falls, lives in Canada, and is really well known for her photography and video work, but she's also a painter, and her paintings are lush and colorful and have this wonderful sort of softness to them. And when I was looking at this work, the title has a little bit of humor in it, which is very much part of Shelley's practice. But there's also this idea of like the whimsies that were small beaded trinkets that were sold to tourists at Niagara Falls when it became a honeymoon destination at the turn of the 20th century. And they would often feature, white outlines, and there's so many great connections here that can be made either with your material culture collection or just the fact that Shelley Nero is an artist that's really talking about, the breakdown of borders, especially for Indigenous communities. Robert Peterson, White Horse. This is a work, you have to see it in person. What is lost in some ways in the reproduction is the background is done completely in silver leaf. So it is luminescent, it is beautiful. Peterson is an artist that's really thinking about Black skin, but creating it in a way that is, looking at blues and purples and browns and celebrating the people that exist in his community of Southeast Oklahoma and bringing to light stories that otherwise are unknown of Black cowboys, and also thinking about photography and, you know, fashion and all of these wonderful things. So this is a really incredible work, and our second horse of this new acquisition group. And then sometimes loans fall through. It happens. We understand things change, but that means that there is a really exciting opportunity for our partners that if you have been wanting to borrow the Robert Cole Scott, you asked us, it was booked. Now's your chance. It is open for all of 2025. Reach out to me, bring this incredible work to your collection, maybe bring it alongside the Edward Hicks. It is a great moment to talk about different representations of America, of identity, and ways that you can use the artwork to really engage your audiences in new and impactful moments. So with that, I will stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for sharing some of those amazing new acquisitions. We're really always excited to see them out and about in the world, and hopefully some of our museum partners will bring them into their spaces. Opening up the Q&A again for those who have questions about these particular pieces or anything curatorial. Ashley, maybe while we're waiting, you had mentioned your favorite piece. What's some of the ideas that you have behind it, acquiring some of these new pieces to our collections?
Absolutely. So an important component of works that you borrow from the Art Bridges collection is the learning and engagement funding that oftentimes comes with it. And so when we are acquiring works, we're not just thinking about the impact that that piece will have in the gallery, but also the ways that you can activate it for your communities. And so that's why for us, it is so important to have a variety of themes, a variety and diversity of artists, of telling stories that go beyond a very narrow idea of American art history and actually thinks more about the American experience, the complexity of what it means to exist in this place that we all exist, and what artists are thinking about as they're creating work. And so, you know, a lot of museums think American art sort of stops at 1900 or 1920, and then it becomes modern and contemporary and is much more global in its focus. And we push against that. We really want to honor and celebrate the idea of American art and how it can be much more inclusive and really include as many voices as possible.
Thank you. Well, please continue to send questions our way as we continue to move through the presentation. If we have more time at the end, we'll certainly circle back to answer those. Or again, you can reach out to us for other additional questions. Let's take a turn towards Andy Phillips, our Director of Collection Loans and Exhibitions, to give us a sneak peek of what's on the horizon for our traveling exhibitions. Over to you, Andy. Looks like you're muted. And just while you unmute, I want to remind folks that we've dropped a link also into the webinar just to give us feedback on a survey from this chat and this presentation today. So please be out on the lookout for that. Andy?
All right. Can everyone see? Can I get a thumbs up if you can see my screen? All right, wonderful. All right, well, welcome everybody and thank you. I'm going to highlight a couple of our current exhibitions that are still available, and then some wonderful exhibitions that just came aboard. I hope some of you are familiar with our traveling exhibitions program. We have a very robust traveling exhibitions program, and we continue to create new opportunities for museums and communities to engage with outstanding artworks. Our current offerings include a diverse range of exhibitions that highlight compelling stories, innovative curatorial approaches, and mainly our goal is to increase access to American art. We have some current offerings of very thought-provoking contemporary installations. We have some dynamic thematic collection exhibitions, but ultimately all of these exhibitions are designed to be flexible and adaptable for institutions of all sizes. We are really excited to support our partners in bringing these experiences to new audiences and really fostering deeper connections through the art. A couple of our current exhibitions that I'd love to highlight that we still have some availability for to booking. Michelangelo Lovelace, Art Saved My Life, which is organized by the Akron Art Museum. Liberating Light, which is organized by the Museum of Contemporary Art in Puerto Rico. And then Blanche Lazelle, Becoming an American Modernist, is organized by the the Art Museum of West Virginia University. So Michelangelo Lovelace, some of you may or may not know of him. He is or was a Cleveland, Ohio-based artist. He is really well known in Ohio, not as well known outside that region. And so one of our, big hopes with traveling this exhibition is to bring him and his art to a larger audience. Again, this particular exhibition features exclusively artwork from Michelangelo Lovelace, and they really address inner city life and pressing social issues through a folk-inspired style. And there's a deeply personal aspect to all of his artworks, and they tap on to, various points throughout his art career. They really showcase his elements of collage and the inspiration that he received from street graffiti. They're very colorful, as you can kind of see from the image, and they have a really powerful, relevant experience for a lot of the visitors who have seen the show. Some of the topics that they touch on is racism, police violence, and there's even, depictions that are responses, or Michelangelo's responses to current events and pressing communal concerns that he felt in his own community. So these are some of the images installation at Akron. If you'd like more information on this particular exhibition, please do let us know. There we go. Didn't want it to advance. And so this is an installation shot from Liberating Light, which again is organized by the Museum of Contemporary Art in Puerto Rico. This show is really special. It includes 3 video installations and 2 sculptural works. The exhibition reflects on the intergenerational and interdisciplinary ancestral ties as seen through a contemporary Caribbean and experience and art video production. So again, this show, because it is video pieces, is very adaptable. It would be great for maybe a smaller college university gallery space that typically doesn't have a lot of real estate to share. And it would also be wonderful to maybe pair with collections that don't have a lot of new media pieces in their existing collection. So, again, it can kind of tap into that experience where maybe your audience hasn't had the opportunity to really interact with video pieces like this before. Our next exhibition is absolutely amazing. Blanche Lazelle, Becoming an American Modernist, again, organized by the Art Museum of West Virginia University. This exhibition has already, like I said, been on tour. It's nearing the end of the tour, but it has been so popular that the university has agreed to extend it. So it's going to be available for another 2 years of placement. It focuses on exclusively Blanche Lazelle's work. She was a pioneering artist, the modernist movement, and a lot of these images in here really span the breadth of her work from her early days through the end of her career. And it largely focuses kind of on her as being an unsung pioneer and champion of abstraction. Venues who have hosted this exhibition have created some great programming for it. Specifically, the Academy Art Museum in Eston, Maryland, produced a wonderful 9-minute video that has their curator and the curator from West Virginia talking about Blanche and her artistic journey and really the importance that she had on the modernist movement. And lucky for all the subsequent venues, Academy is graciously making the video available to any of the venues that also come on to the tour. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, we might even have a link for it on our website, but it is it's a great 9-minute video that really talks about Blanche and kind of encompasses the importance of her and her career. So moving on to some of our exciting new exhibitions. So fresh off the docket list, we are going to have the opportunity to partner with the Schneider Museum. They're working on a really great exhibition called Making Fun, The Rise of Humor and the Pictorial Art of the West. Super long title, but the show really explores how artists of California, Oregon, and the Washington area challenged the convention in the late 1960s by embracing comics, political cartoons, and folk art traditions. It's going to feature works by over 24 artists, such as Henry Franzeca, David Bradley, Faye Jones, Phyllis Yes, and their works are represented in a huge range of media. So it's not just going to be two-dimensional works. There's going to be jewelry incorporated, there's ceramics incorporated, there's some works on print. So it really is a great range of media that's included in this exhibition. It would be a great fit for any institution who wanted to kind of have a more fun, whimsical, exhibition that is easily approachable. It can provide great opportunities to create strong programming around diverse artistic approaches and various voices. So, if you're interested, please let us know. Square footage is a little flexible. It's about 3,500 to 4,000 square feet. But again, if we need to scale back, we could definitely work with the organizer in accommodating that for you. And our next wonderful exhibition is James Labrador, Land of Origin, which is being organized by the Jordan Snitzer Museum of Art. For those of you who might not be familiar with James, he's a member of the Walla Walla tribe, and he is very well known for his large panel sets of landscape paintings, but he also does amazing printmaking. So, please, if you're not familiar with him, look him up. His paintings and his prints, they're gorgeous. But you can see we have a wonderful representation of James's work in our collection, which will be lent to the exhibition. The exhibition itself will bring together over 30 works from the artist, a couple museum loans, private collections. James has been very involved with Danielle, the curator, on this exhibition, and they've been working really closely to kind of curate the checklist. He's been, very mindful of incorporating new work that he's been making and works that might have been hiding out in his studio that individuals haven't seen before. So he is also very excited to be involved with any tour programming. So, when he's available, any venues that do take on this exhibition, we can certainly put you in touch with James and start talking about programming opportunities that you might be able to create at your institution with this show. All right, so just to highlight, we've had many successful collaborations with institutions of all different types of sizes at Art Bridges here. We are not, exclusive to small institutions or large institutions. We definitely want to welcome everybody, and we do want to make our exhibitions as accessible as accessible as possible. As you all, I'm sure, know, there's significant benefits in traveling exhibitions. They offer high quality art to new audiences. They enable you to bring new content to your museum. They foster connections between your museum and maybe the lending institution that can go on to future partnerships. They're able to provide great educational and engagement opportunities for, audiences of all ages. So if you all have any ideas or interested in hosting or maybe organizing, please let us know, and I can share more about our process that we have for onboarding organizers and for venues that are interested in borrowing. But not to toot our own horn, but we've been pretty happy with the feedback that we have received from our past collaborators. Here's a couple examples right here. I'll let you guys read them yourselves. But we definitely pride ourselves on our ability to create meaningful collaborations that then carry on to subsequent projects. For example, we have an exhibition right now of Minnie Evans touring through the Cameron Museum, which is a smaller institution based in North Carolina. They had, up to this point, not had the opportunity of partnering with the MFA Boston institution. MFA Boston is taking the exhibition. They have created a wonderful partnership. The Cameron Museum actually owns Minnie Evans's archive. So the curators from MFA Boston were able to go to the Cameron, go through the archives, pick even additional content that they felt would appeal to their audiences up there in Boston from the archive and expand on the exhibition. And this is, it's turning into a very fruitful relationship between those two institutions that hadn't had the opportunity to work together prior. So if you are interested in hosting, again, please let's collaborate. Contact us to explore the opportunities that we have, our upcoming opportunities. We have some more very exciting exhibitions coming up. If anyone is interested in Scrimshaw, we have an amazing Scrimshaw exhibition that we're going to be traveling through New Bedford. There are so many beautiful tiny things in this exhibition I can't even express in words. You'll just have to check out the checklist if you're interested. But please, if maybe Scrimshaw is not a fit, let us help you. We're happy to suggest exhibitions that might suit your museum, or if there's a specific audience you haven't been able to connect with, please let us help, and we can offer some suggestions to that. And again, together we can create really impactful art experiences that resonate deeply with your audiences.
Thank you so much, Andy, for sharing some of those wonderful traveling exhibitions that we have on offer. We do have a fan also in our chat here who's mentioning Lavador at the Jocelyn Museum. Laura, who was there and thought it was absolutely stunning. So wonderful opportunity for others to be able to share into that artwork with their communities. And I have a sort of a personal love for Lovelace myself, having had the opportunity to visit Michelangelo when he was living in his space in Cleveland and see those works up front and personally. So again, really beautiful opportunities to get all of this artwork out and about and with community. If there are any additional questions for Andy, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A, or Ashley, or even Vivian, who all sort of shared opportunities to partner with us at Art Bridges Foundation. Just a reminder as well for those who are participating today, thank you so much for joining us for our first webinar. We do have that survey. Again, that's dropped in the link, please. We'd love your feedback on this webinar or what you'd like to see going forward as we continue to bring some of these opportunities and really spotlight our partners and our partners' work for more and others to share and see. If you are interested in partnership, please feel free to reach out to my team. We are responsible for having those conversations with you and answering questions and connecting you even further with some of these internal teams about how partnership works for us here at Art Bridges. We'd love to expand on our 260 plus partners. And so we're always excited to have conversations with all kinds of museums that display American art to see how we can help support you. Okay, just check the Q&A one more time and see if we've got additional ones. Folks are saying thank you. They'll reach out. So we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you all for being a partner. We've got some partners that are joining us today. We've got some staff joining us today and some folks who want to jump in and create partnerships. So we'll be excited to follow up with you all. Just another special thanks to our folks joining us today. Thank you again, Vivian, for joining us from Ulrich and really sharing those really wonderful groupings and then an opportunity for folks to be able to borrow through our partner loan network. Thank you, Anne, for kicking us off today and just giving us a reminder of the mission of Art Bridges and how folks can get involved and all that we love to do to open up access. Thank you, Ashley, for sharing our wonderful new acquisitions in our permanent collection. We are always excited to expand that collection as well and get it out and about to many of your spaces. And thank you, Andy, again, for sharing with us the traveling exhibitions that we've got on offer. Not everything is included here, folks, that we've got in our collection and our traveling exhibitions today. Please check our website or please reach out for any questions or inquiries of how you can borrow and share this work. And then just a reminder again that learning and engagement piece is a way that we really help to provide dollars to activate the actual art work in your spaces. And so wonderful opportunity to open it up to community, to learn more, to provide more education and public programming around these opportunities with these artworks. So I'll pause here just for a couple of more minutes maybe and see if we've got any more additional questions. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to your feedback on that questionnaire, and we look forward to a second webinar coming soon. So stay tuned, and hopefully we'll see you soon again. Have a wonderful day from Art Bridges Foundation and our partner, Vivian. Take care. Bye.